Welcome to the Microsoft Cloud Option webinar series. My name is Vivek Bhatnagar. I am a CTO and founder for UnifyCloud. Once you decide, okay, these are the application you are going to move to the cloud, then how do you decide that which one should go first or which one you should prioritize, which one you should go last, and kind of thing. So for this, there are two types of approach, which we always call like first approach is definitely top-down approach, which is like very popular. In this approach, now we start with looking at a very high level requirement of security. That what kind of security it need, and do we need a regulatory compliances? Do we have a jurisdiction that we have to address in other countries, in other aspect, and how do we classify data? So is data is classified as a confidential or highly confidential, other things. We look at also complexity of architecture, like latency, and do we need a very high level of SLA for that? Will it be difficult or connected to a lot of lot of like other applications? And also important aspect, like how much is a business risk? Like suppose we are migrating and when we are not successful in the first attempt, or for some reason we lost this application for a couple of hours, how much business impact it is going to happen? Do how mature tools we have to manage and monitor it? So these things are important to look at from top-down approach. Then we look when we move to the financial part of the application, that how much real benefit we will get by moving it to the cloud, what kind of business continuity, other operation we need. So this is we call a typical top-down approach, which and determine that um, how difficult to migrate or modernize this application and compare it with the benefits we will get. So one side you can see the security, architecture, risk. These are how difficulty in moving an application. The other side you look at the finance, workload type, and operations. So how do you come? How do you basically or balance these two aspect of thing, and then decide whether okay this application is worth moving right now. So this is a top-down approach, and this is typically you do it in consulting with the um, with the senior executive. You have to maybe take an approach of an interview. It takes a lot of time and patience. So it's not so easy to do because availability of key individuals are always difficult. So you need to find out app owners, app architects, and talk to them, and maybe business owners, and then decide like all these things. So this is top-down approach, and as sometimes it's not even possible to do it because people are so busy in their own work, day-to-day work, and you will not get time from others. The second approach, which is very popular also, because it is driven by assets. So the way it works, that you use any of the uh, typical inventory collection or data collection tool, like for example, Azure Migrate or Mover or Map or other tools, and then collect data yourself. So you can read through a CMDB, or you can actually run an agent or anything, collect the data about VMs, how many VMs, and you can see that then with these VMs you can always see that there are like uh, about their operational characteristics, how much CPU VMs are using. Typically, it takes around at least 2 weeks data to collect this thing, and then you arrange that data in a format that you can read. So you can also like add to the security compliances and other thing here, like other services. So it basically combination of collecting the current state of a asset and then documenting these things. This approach usually assumes that you're going to move to a IaaS or rehosting model as a baseline. However, you can always do some sort of modernization and other thing. This approach requires a very rich source of statistical users data, the time that's need to scan an inventory and collect data. Sometimes create a big risk to a project, because sometimes it takes more than 2 weeks, and then customer is not willing to wait that long to get the assessment. Um, so you need to select this approach very carefully, and then use it. But it's very popular, and I've seen majority of time is very successful approach. But in addition to these two approaches, which are again very popular, they typically we recommend a combination of these approach and incremental approach. So, so never try to boil the ocean. Never say customer that you are going to scan thousands of VM together and all. So if you're a smaller customer, is fine, like up to 1,000 VMs, fine. But if you cross to a level of like 5,000, 6,000 VM, then you can actually always take an incremental approach. Again, go and start with a smaller number of workloads. Apply the rule of 10, and do a like initial cost analysis. And initial cost analysis is also required when somebody is asking you financial validation, ROI numbers or TCO numbers. Then do this initial cost analysis, and then then take that particular workloads and limited number and do a migration planning. The initial workload and how they will move. This will actually limit your time that you're going to spend with stakeholders and also their time. And then you can plan that the incremental release, maybe 10 workload release, and then bring the learning back and then pick up another 10 workloads and go ahead. So this is an incremental approach which is worked very well in majority of scenarios, as we have seen.